Stephen King, September, rolling right along. Troy already popping a beer before we even start. And we're done with it. We're done talking about it. I've already offended all of Catholicism with my latest theory. So you know what? We're going to put that subject to bed and talk about something else Stephen King. Something that's so good that we locked it in a spare bedroom and we might have broken its legs. We're talking about the winner of the Revue Return Random Movies 6, Misery. What do we think? Is this movie the number one fan of us? Or are we its number one fans, I mean?
Works either way. Either way, we're getting hobbled.
Either way, we're getting hobbled. We're going to lose a leg here on a very deep in the snowy mountains edition of the Revue. Troy, you dirty birdie.
What? Oh, I forgot you can't swear this whole episode.
Oh, shit.
Welcome to the Revue, a show where two small-town dudes give our big PG opinions for this rated R movie. I'm Troy to the max extreme.
And curse words are below me. I don't need to use curse words.
Nope.
Although I lost it when she yelled cocksucker at the last...
I know, right?
That last moment where she loses it and just calls him a cocksucker, I was like, oh, yeah.
I didn't know I heard that at first. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's what it was.
I had subtitles on because Molly, for some reason, loves watching shit with subtitles. And plain as day, she says, you cocksucker.
I have a funny story about subtitles about this movie, and I'll get to it during our review.
Awesome.
But before we get into that, JT...
I like a story.
It's a very quick story, but I think you'll get a chuckle out of it.
I like it. Like Fran Drescher over here.
Let's get into some news, JT.
Okay.
Don't got a ton of stuff this week.
Okay.
I got a ton of stuff. Maybe a bit slow.
Okay. I've got some stuff.
Okay. Great. Great.
That's great.
John Wick 3, Parabellum, is slowly becoming, oh no, I'm going to say quickly becoming, Lionsgate's, that's hard to say because it's Lionsgate's.
Yeah.
Best-selling home release since the Hunger Games movies. The only one that it hasn't beaten yet is Mockingjay Part 1. Otherwise, John Wick 3 is at like Lionsgate's best home release in many years.
Jesus.
I know. That being said, they've I think already thinking about a John Wick 4, and
not to spoil, but I did watch it this past week. I'll talk about it more in my what I've been watching, but they do build to a fourth one.
And I think they're still doing that Continental thing. Is that still going to be a thing?
Yeah, there's supposed to be a show, I think it's on USA or something, it's supposed to be.
So it's a hot, everyone knows, it's already a hot franchise.
Yeah.
But it actually kind of blew me away that it's performing as well as the Hunger Games movies, which are phenomenons.
Yeah.
For a few years.
But John Wick has been slowly building up as a kind of its own kind of cult classic in sorts.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go back and I haven't seen anything past the first one. And the first one never really blew me away. That I was yeah, that was awesome. It was good.
It's so fucking insane now.
So I need to just watch the rest.
I think you liked one of them, but I live tweeted the first half hour of this.
Yes.
I watched the first half hour of this during my lunch break, and I live tweeted it because it's insane.
I was started to really enjoy him by the time you were writing in all caps.
Dude, I couldn't believe what was happening.
It was great. It was great.
I'll bring up some.
We'll get to it.
Just to keep you guys on the edge. I'll bring some of them up in my what I've been watching for it. But good lord,
you're edging
that first
the
half hour.
The Breaking Bad movie, JT, coming up real soon, El Camino.
Yeah.
Is it's going to be in theaters, but only for one weekend. Ooh. So catch it while you can. That weekend being October 11th through the 13th.
Yeah.
It's coming up pretty soon here. Mm-hmm. It's right around the corner. But fear not, if you cannot make the theatrical release, it will drop on Netflix the same day.
And we do have a free week.
Free week?
That. So I'm thinking maybe we can do kind of an El Camino / Breaking Bad retrospective for one of our shows.
Free week. I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
You may be asking, JT, why isn't he putting it on AMC where the show was hosted?
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, the director, Vince Gilligan.
Yeah.
Gilligan. Is it Gillian? Gilligan? The director, Vince
Gilligan.
credits Netflix to its popularity because once it started dropping on the streaming service, a lot of people took hold on it and binged it there.
Oh yeah,
rather than watched it as it was coming out on AMC.
I think Vince Gilligan's also done like interviews where he said like AMC did a really shitty job when it came to like promoting it.
Oh yeah,
because AMC didn't even know what it was.
Uh-huh.
So like they were about ready to cancel it, and then like right when it got on Netflix, people started binging it, and then like their next season, I think it was like the third season, like did gangbusters. So AMC was like, "Oh, this is such a good show! Oh yeah, yeah. We'll start really promoting it. Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, sure, thanks."
Because I got into it late. You were telling me it's great.
Yeah,
and I think it was maybe just starting its 4th season by the time I hopped onto it.
Yeah.
And then it was all on Netflix at that point. Or either I borrowed the disc from you, I don't remember. Mm-hmm. But I binged it all, like, fairly quickly.
Yeah.
To start the 4th season.
Yeah.
Like, when it was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty good time. Pretty good time.
It's good.
But I can't remember if after that, I think I only hit, like, one season when I was on TV. Otherwise, I just waited for it to be over and just watched all of it at once.
I liked it so much. I got like their big collector barrel of the DVDs. Mm-hmm. So that was back. That was back when I had that was back when I had a lot of money to burn. Like I was still living at my parents and shit, and I was like, I had like a full-time job living at my parents, so I would just buy the dumbest shit.
Yeah, those were the days, right? My mom has told me to my face I can't move in with her anymore ever again. I'm fairly certain during an emergency she would let me, but otherwise she likes her
Even
own
then,
space.
she'd probably still put like a time stamp on it.
Just circle the next week on the calendar.
She would get a calendar and be like, "You leave after this.
You have 1 week, one calendar week."
You do realize I lost everything. One week.
Get your shit together. So yeah, it'll air same day on Netflix, October 11th, but it'll also probably air on AMC sometime in the future. Maybe at some edited capacity.
Maybe.
Who knows? Did you hear about this, JT, that RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, Iron Man himself, is
no more. He's dead, though.
Well,
spoiler.
I mean, yes. R.I.P. But that's what makes this news so surprising.
What?
That there's a rumor that circulated that he'll be showing up in the Black Widow movie.
Well, it's supposed to be like a flashback film of sorts.
It is. It's right after Civil War, I believe.
Yeah.
But that being said, not a whole lot of other people have been rumored to be in there, but RDJ.
Maybe RDJ wants to get one last hurrah.
Coming back. So, do you... they actually talked about this on, I think, the last episode of the Weekly Planet. Mm-hmm. Do you think that Robert Downey Jr. would, like, license his likeness for Disney to use for Marvel films? So he doesn't actually have to be there, but make, like, $1 million for his appearance anyway?
I thought that was already a thing that they could do.
I don't know. I don't know if that's, like, in contracts or whatever, that you can't use a likeness without him actually being there or whatever. But, like, I believe he is that kind of person.
Yeah.
Not that that's bad.
No.
Because I'm like, I'll make money for not being there. You can use my likeness.
From what I've garnered from how Robert Downey Jr. is treating all this shit, he's gotten to the point now where it's like, as long as I get paid for it, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, but I I think he honestly likes being the character, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think also Chris Evans really liked being Captain America as well, but he just kind of like wants to do something else for a minute.
Yeah.
But I could also see him like doing a cameo in something as well.
I know, that's like the thing that's about Marvel that always would be like, I don't know if I would be able to do it, where it's like you live that.
Yeah, for years.
Where it's like, yeah. Like, even if you do something else, it's like, well, does it fit in with who you are in Marvel?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, shit. Okay.
That's why I'm looking forward to this Knives Out movie to see, like...
Yeah, see him do something different.
Yeah. Just to, like, even if it's just, like, a refresh... Something refreshing. Because he was, like, in Snowpiercer and all that stuff, too.
Yeah.
But he was, like, still, like, a stoic-esque action hero.
Kind of, but then at the end, like, he confesses to some shit where it's like, Jesus Christ!
Yeah. 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 I guess it's not so, truth and justice and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Whatever heroic, like... rose-tinted glasses you had of him at that point have been thrown out the window when he says some shit.
I guess he'd be less heroic and more just protagonist.
Yeah. More like he's leading a group of people that are getting shit on.
Uh-huh.
Granted, they've all done their fair share of shitting in the past.
Yeah. Everyone shits in the pot.
Everyone shits in the pot.
Is that a saying?
Sure.
Shits in the pot.
Copyright. Copyright Revue podcast.
Anybody who says that, you owe us a fucking grand. And the last bit... Well, actually, I have 2 more bits of news. I just remembered another one.
So you're a liar.
Yeah. So the cast list for the Suicide Squad came out.
I saw... Yeah.
Did you see that huge
Jesus
cast?
Christ.
And it looks like James Gunn has taken a ton of people he worked with Guardians as
I
well
know.
over.
James Gunn just like hosted a party and was like, by the way, you all signed the guest list. That means you all have to be in this movie.
Yeah. So it's got a few people back. I'm gonna pull up the...
I know a lot of the names on there were like, I'm sure, I think like 75% of the names on there were like not even in the first movie.
Oh, for sure. No.
It's like Margot Robbie and fucking Jai Courtney, I think, are like the only 2 I saw that were like in the original movie.
Yep.
And like everyone else is completely fucking new.
But they've got like Taika Waititi is in it.
Or Joel McKinnon is in there too.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Fucking
whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Or
Joel Kinnaman, that's his name.
Fuck, why can't I
Who
think
played like yeah, the fucking
it's
cop
not
dude.
Rick Flag, is it?
I think it is Rick Flag.
Anyway, John Cena is in it. Flula Borg is in it. Flula Borg, that freaking German comic. Nathan Fillion, Sean Gunn.
Nathan Fillion will be fun.
Pete Davidson from SNL is in it.
Yeah, I heard
we
that.
said that like a few weeks ago. Steve Agee is in it. Taika Waititi. Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, Peter Capaldi is a weird ass.
Viola Davis is back. Idris Elba is in there.
Yeah.
Michael Rooker is in there. God. And that's just like half of them.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I just know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Otherwise, some of these other people...
I think someone like tweeted something where it's like, did you ever imagine you'd live long enough to see Idris Elba, Pete Davidson, and... and fucking Peter Capaldi in the same movie?
So, like, I'm looking forward. And it was also tweeted out, like, no one is safe. So, like, I just hope they, like, off half the cast.
Jesus.
Especially, like, the big names. Like,
oh, yeah.
Idris Elba and Nathan Fillion. They just, like,
They
die.
eat each other.
Yeah, they eat the living shit out of each other. And just die. That'd be great.
What if they kill Harley Quinn first scene?
I hope they fucking do. And then everyone's like, well, doesn't she have another movie coming out? And then the whole...
Who cares? I'm James Gunn.
And then you have, like, freaking Suicide Squad 2 beginning explained videos for the rest of all time in perpetuity.
Why did they do this?
The last bit of news I got, JT, a little small bit of news, but do Do you remember the Harbinger and Bloodshot movies that Valiant Comics sold off to Sony to make?
Vaguely.
It was like a couple years ago. So
wasn't like Vin Diesel supposed to be like Bloodshot?
Yeah, Bloodshot.
Or something?
So apparently the rights to Harbinger has been sold off now to Paramount Pictures to get that thing going. And apparently production into Bloodshot has already started. Mm-hmm. So they may be coming sooner than we think. Even though I thought they'd be out by now because I heard this news like years ago.
Yeah.
But that also begs the question, they were going to build up to like a crossover movie between the two franchises. Okay. But now with them at different studios, this may not happen.
Yeah.
Unless Sony wants to play ball with other studios.
Now that Sony's got like their big heavy hitter, they're just like, you know what? Fuck you two.
Fuck this. We don't need that one.
Yeah.
You can have that one.
You can have that bullshit. We got our own.
So yeah, that's the only interesting thing I got. I don't know why Sony wouldn't want to hold all those cards unless they think they got a stinker on their hands or something. But
I don't know.
We'll see, won't we? That's all I got.
They're just so shallow where it's like, who are these again?
Who are the Harbingers?
Who's the Hairbringer and Blood Poop?
That's a poor vision if you think shot looks like poop.
He called the shot poop.
He called the shit poop. Blood shit. Can you imagine if that was the name of the fucking movie? Blood shit.
It'd get over really well in theaters.
I bet.
Just people's. I want one for blood shit, like in front of kids.
Me and the old lady will have 2 for blood shit.
Yeah. We're making it a date night. Want 2 for blood shit. Troy Thomas Middleditch.
Yeah.
About to be in that last season of Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
I know you and Chelsea said you've been getting into it.
Yep.
But it appears that Thomas Middleditch is writing a new comedy series with his wife about their lives as a swinging couple.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I guess they live a swinging lifestyle, and they're going to write a comedy based on their lives.
Swinging 60s. Here I come, baby.
Yeah.
Austin Powers.
So are you interested in that at all, Troy?
Yeah, I'm interested in anything Thomas Middleditch is in or does.
Yeah.
I think he's like one of the funniest people in entertainment now.
He's one of those guys where like you see him and you're just like, okay, you're kind of weird, but then like the minute he starts talking, you're like, oh, you're very funny.
Yes.
Like he's probably anytime he's on like an episode of Comedy Bang Bang, it's like
the best one.
Must listen.
Yeah. And he's great in anything else. He's gonna show up in the Zombieland 2 as well as like Jesse Eisenberg's like doppelganger.
Yeah. Troy, a lot of shit's been dropped on the streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot.
Blood shit has been dropped.
Blood shit has been dropped a lot. But before I get into NBC put out a lot of shit. But before I get into that, HBO Max has bought the exclusive rights to the Big Bang Theory.
Oh, God.
Fuck them.
Who cares?
Fuck them.
Okay. Isn't that CBS? Why would CBS let that happen?
There's a lot of crazy shit going on. Like, I think, like, I wish I would have wrote it all down, but, like, NBC put out, like, their thing for, their NBC Universal streaming app called, listen to this, it's called Peacock, is the name of their fucking streaming service.
Great.
It's dumb as fuck.
Great.
And they've pretty much just done nothing but buy a shit ton of like old shows. And then even like their new content is like just reboots of shit.
Right.
Like they're going to reboot Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
And they're doing a reboot of Saved by the Bell.
Okay.
Where they're bringing back members of the original cast.
Oh God. To play as teens.
No, yeah, to play as I wish.
Oh my god,
But,
I'd watch that.
But for sure, they're bringing you back Elizabeth Berkley and fuck, who's the guy that played Slater?
Mario Lopez.
Mario Lopez. But then, like, I heard a thing on a podcast today where they put out like a synopsis of what it's supposed to be about, and I guess Zach Morris is the governor of California.
Oh no!
And they did something where, like, because they're running out of money, he has to put schools together, and one of them being Bayside with like another low income high school, and they all have to learn to get together. Where I'm like, that almost sounds like it could be offensive.
Sounds like it's an excuse for somebody to write offensive material.
Yeah.
That sounds bad. I don't think I would want to watch any of that.
Yeah.
Just
then,
put them as teens, like Wet Hot American Summer style.
But like everything beyond that, like I think all NBC has really bought for their streaming service is like nothing but like old sitcoms.
Oh yeah, they're gonna just be riding on that Office.
Like I think
Friends.
they bought like Cheers. They bought Frasier back. Like yeah, Friends, The Office, just all these like old fucking sitcoms, and then like even their original material is just rehashings of old shit.
Yeah. Which those sitcoms are great, but like for what cost? But like, didn't one of these that we were talking about not that long ago said they were going to offer it for free? Was it this one? The Universal?
I think it was a
NBC
rumor.
one?
I think now they're going to charge because now they're like buying up all this bullshit.
Okay.
But they're like going like out of their way to like spend a fuck ton of money to buy this shit up.
But wouldn't they own it? You mean just buy the rights back from other services that it's already on?
Yeah, because they had to buy... What was it? Yeah, because they had to buy back the rights of The Office from Netflix.
Yeah.
And they did that for like... It was like almost like... It was some crazy amount, like $600 million.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like it was like a fuck ton of money they had to use to like buy back the rights to their own show.
God. Oh my god. You know, it's going to be a bummer, though, when, like, those big sitcom-y things, like, do leave Netflix. Because, like,
yeah,
that's pretty much what we fall asleep to, like,
I know, like, almost
night.
everything that Netflix has now is getting bought back from other streaming services to be used by them.
Yeah.
But Netflix did buy the rights to another sitcom that you could look forward to.
What is
They
this?
have bought the rights to Seinfeld.
Oh, I did see this. Okay. That was a big deal because Hulu bought it, like, just a few... Not even that long ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I guess, like Seinfeld is waning in its popularity that, like, Netflix even got, like, kind of a deal on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot. It was still, like, $100 million or something, but it was, like... It was way less than what they were trying to buy it for when they wanted to begin with.
Okay.
And they got Friends instead.
Mm-hmm.
But now NBC's buying Friends back from them.
For
so I'm like, well, we need something. Yeah. So it's like, well, fuck, we need something.
We've been recently watching Friends at night.
Yeah.
Like, to go to bed to. I really like that show. Like, I don't know why it, like, embarrasses me to say it that I like Friends.
Yeah.
But I do. I like Friends. It's good.
Yeah.
Besides, like, the late 90s, early 2000s homophobia in some episodes.
Yeah.
And some episodes are just, like, kind of offensive now.
Yeah.
But a majority of them are not.
Mm-hmm.
I think the cast works well together. I like it.
Yeah. I know Molly likes to fall asleep to Frasier, so I'm sure she's going to try and finagle me into getting... But I just don't... This NBC app just rubs me the wrong way. Like, they're just like, we're not even going to try and make new shit. We're just going to either rehash old shit or just show old shit.
I don't want to knock their business model because I think it's the old shit that people want to see. What's one thing that's current that people want to see from NBC?
That's true. I know. We're going to do our test pilot episode like in 2 weeks, and I'm sure we're not going to revisit any of that shit we're going to talk about.
None of the titles even sound vaguely interesting to me. So, there you have it.
Well, there you go. Well, speaking of Netflix, Troy.
Mm-hmm. I like how we went from The Big Bang Theory to just talking about NBC only specifically.
Well, streaming services.
You got it.
Streaming. So it's like that's all. It was like a big streaming service like dump. Like everyone was just like, well, they got this, but we got this, and it was like, okay, we get it. Yeah, cool. You guys can buy sitcoms.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Buy old ass sitcoms that like you might like get the attention of like people for a little bit until they're like, yeah, I watched it all.
I guess I could just watch it again. I don't know.
But speaking of Netflix, Troy, Jane Lynch.
Yeah.
She's always good.
Yep.
She's teamed up with Cyndi Lauper.
Oh my goodness.
To develop a Golden Girls style comedy on Netflix.
Okay. That sounds okay.
Yeah.
Cyndi Lauper makes me like raise an eyebrow.
I don't know. She seems. I like Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen her in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
But Jane Lynch is always good.
Yeah, Jane Lynch is good. So like, if she's behind it, like I have more faith in it. If it was like Cyndi Lauper wants to do Golden Girls thing alone or whatever, I'll be like,
she wants to play all the characters.
You know what? Maybe I would watch that. She plays all of the characters and just see her very quickly go insane.
I'm the older one.
I'm the hussy.
I'm the slut. I'm the southern slut. Mona me.
I'm the big one.
And I'm the sweet one that won't die.
Let's do it, Cindy. Let's get it all.
Do it all.
Let's make it happen.
And my last bit of news, Troy, and I'm surprised I didn't bring this up because this is kind of like the weirdest thing that came out of this week that I thought you would have heard of.
I probably have.
And it's kind of a rumor mill.
Oh.
So you might want to reopen the rumor mill. There's a rumor out there, Troy, that for the MCU's X-Men...
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
That the person they have in mind to play Magneto is Denzel Washington.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
I think it's a very out there choice to play Magneto.
I think it'd be interesting, especially being like a reimagining, because, like, in all honesty, you can't fucking do the Eric Lyncher from the Holocaust anymore.
Right.
It's just not feasible because it's fucking
forever ago.
You'd have to be fucking 80 years old to do it. So my idea is, what if they make it where it's like Eric Lyncher is a kid that grew up during like the height of like Jim Crow.
Yeah.
And like people fighting for like the civil rights movement. Like it's kind of,
it pushes it like 20 or 30 years forward in time.
Yeah.
I don't hate that. I don't think that Denzel's a bad choice actor-wise.
No.
I think he would like bring a fun, different take for Magneto, which I think would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I just am waiting for the internet to take a big blood shit all over it. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to marinate on. I didn't hear about this, and I'm surprised I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, well, it's like it's more of a rumor. It's not like anything set in stone or anything, but it was like something that kind of leaked. Like I think it was like the first part. It was like a couple days after we recorded last week, where like it kind of came out. Where I was like, "Ooh, that's interesting."
I wonder if it's like a bit of stunt casting though, to like just
maybe
remind people that things are like out and about.
Maybe.
I mean, stunt rumor casting.
Yeah.
You know.
But I like the whole idea of them kind of using that. Because I do like the idea of Magneto being part of another group of people that are persecuted against.
Yeah, me too.
So when it gets to where the mutants are being persecuted against, he's like, oh, fuck, not again.
Yes. Yeah. I do like that. Shit, he can even be from, like, the LA riots, because that was, like, 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, like, stuff like that. Like, it would be... like you could totally use all that stuff.
He was 30 during the LA riots, and then he'd be 60 now.
Yeah.
And that's old enough to be Magneto.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, fit 60-ish.
Fuck. Yeah.
Fuck, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not against it. Sorry I keep kicking this mic. I just want to stretch.
Stop
I
it.
just want to stretch my legs. Stretch these gams out. You know what I'm saying?
Stretch them gams. But yeah, that's all my news, Troy.
Well. Do you want to do... we do have some correspondence. Do you want to do that right now, or do you want to get into trailers?
Let's do it. Let me get let me pull up that mail screen because I think I finally got it figured out.
Okay.
For our mail screen. God damn it. There we go. Times 2, yeah.
This is from good old Eric. He actually sent in 2 letters this week.
My God.
One of them we'll be reading for Monday's show because it'll tie into a theme of what we have for Monday's show.
Yes.
But this one says, Gents.
Yes.
Based off the recent Shooting the Shit episode, I think you guys know I used to work at a gambling establishment as a dealer.
Yeah.
We do know that.
We do know
That's
that.
a very interesting fact about our friend Eric.
Yeah.
The stories I would love to fill you guys in on sometime. Oh.
We gotta get him in for a shooting the shit.
Some would make you raise an eyebrow. Some may make you cringe in horror. I'm interested in that.
Eric, get in here for
we
shooting the shit.
Might have to save that for another episode of Shooting the Shit Horrific Jobs.
Ooh.
Sent from my iPhone.
There you go.
Very good idea, Eric. There's been people suggesting we have guests on our Shooting the Shit episodes.
Yes.
And I think that'd be a fun just to talk about all the jobs we've had because I would fill a lot of time.
Yeah, I know we've already hinted at the jobs that we've done.
Oh yeah, but I've only just scratched the surface.
I haven't even talked about that summer that I spent moving shit from the old school to the new school. You learn a lot about the janitors of a school when you're stuck with them for a full summer.
Yeah. So that'd be fun. Yeah. Let's line that up, Eric.
Yeah.
Just give us some free dates. Whatever you got. We'll open up.
Let's do it.
Let's open up our Google calendars for it.
Let's do it.
But his next letter we'll read on Monday's episode because it ties into the theme. I've already said that, but I'm just reiterating.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll tell you all about that at the end of the show.
At the end of the show. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Well, with I'm saying now you've got no bits. I'm saying that.
I don't believe there's any bits.
I don't get any either. So let's get into It's Done.
It's
you
done.
know it.
You know it.
You know it. I only have one trailer. There's some that looked interesting, but I was just like... In fact, I actually saw one tweet saying that I should not watch the second trailer to Knives Out.
Really?
From the director.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I watched it.
I know, I heard. And I was going to watch it, and then I saw the tweet, and I was like, oh.
I don't think it ruins that much.
What do you know about it?
I don't... Maybe I'm that dense. Ryan Johnson's calling me dense.
Anyway, I didn't watch it then, so I only have one trailer.
Okay. Well, I got 3.
Holy shit, Joel.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, since you didn't see it and you already talked about it, I'll bring up what I saw in the Knives Out newest trailer that came out.
Okay.
And yeah, it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really want to watch this. Like, it really hammers home like that classic whodunit style where everyone is acting shady as shit.
Uh-huh.
And there's like everyone has a motive, everyone is lying their ass off. And then like even like the detectives seem like they have like their own kind of personalities that just make them seem interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Chris Evans looks like a lot of fun in this.
Yeah, for sure.
So like the cast is amazing.
Yep.
The plot is interesting. I love whodunit type
Same.
stories, so I'm on board for this 100%.
Did they show anything else in this that they left out of the first one? The first
I
trailer?
mean, it's a lot of new footage, but I think this one does a really good job of setting up, like, kind of what's leading up to the whole interrogation process, where, like, everyone is acting a certain way, and you're like, well, I don't even know. Everyone is acting in a certain way where I don't even know if I could trust a single person in this room.
Oh my goodness.
So it just looks like a lot of fun.
Classic whodunit.
Yeah, and you don't get a lot of whodunits nowadays.
You know, what was that one, the latest one, on the train?
Oh, fuck. Murder on the Orient Express?
Yeah.
That movie fucking sucked.
I never saw it. I wanted to see it,
Yeah.
but then I heard it was kind of bad, so I
It
didn't.
sucked.
All right.
Ugh.
Whodunit?
Do you want me to ruin it for you?
I don't know if I'll ever see it.
Should I ruin it for the people on here?
No, just forget it.
I'll tell you after the...
All right, tell me after the show.
I'll tell you off mic.
Oh.
The dreaded words. But,
What
yeah,
else?
that, and then, well, which one did you see?
I saw In the Tall Grass.
Oh, I didn't see that one. You can say that one.
In the Tall Grass is a Netflix film coming out October 4th.
Yeah.
I actually chose it because it's based off a Stephen King and Joe Hill novella.
Yeah.
Since we're in Stephen King month. And it's starring Patrick Wilson,
Okay.
as well as like a handful of other people that I don't recognize. But there's this like couple that pulls up near this kind of just like this field that is this tall, overgrown grass, like 6 feet tall or 7 feet tall or whatever.
Yeah.
And they keep hearing like a voice in there say like to help them. So they go in and try to follow the voice, and then they just get lost in there.
Sure.
And then they end up bumping into other people who are also lost in there. Some of them
Jesus.
who have been looking for them for a few days, and now they have gotten in there before them. Like, it's a weird, trippy kind of trailer. Looks kind of cool. And if this adaptation's as good as like some of the other Stephen King ones that went to Netflix, like last year maybe, or the year before,
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah. Yeah, those we reviewed like those two that came out on Netflix before, and those are pretty interesting.
Yeah. And this is only based off a short story too, so I guarantee
Yeah.
they can stretch it out a little bit.
I've always
more.
heard Stephen King's short stories are his better lines of work.
That's what I've also heard. But yeah, I've never read it. I didn't know it. Yeah, I didn't know much about this until I saw it, and I was like, well. How
Fantastic.
fitting.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Coming out October 4th to Netflix.
Well, I saw a trailer to a movie you're looking forward to, Troy. Ford v Ferrari put out another trailer.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm looking more forward to it. Like, they definitely set it up where it's like Ferrari seems like the biggest dicks.
Yeah. Right?
like, oh, by the way, for no reason at all, Ferrari sent you a telegram saying you're a bunch of bitches, Ford. What the fuck? We didn't do shit.
Well, we didn't do anything.
Well, then fuck you. We're gonna beat you in your own race.
We'll mail a letter bomb to you.
But no, it looks fun, and like I'm for it.
Good. Yeah, I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to come out of that being like, wow, what a great flick.
Wow.
Wow. But we'll see, won't we?
We will see.
I mean, I am a dad.
Yeah,
I heard it's a great dad movie.
It's great for dads. It's great for dads.
I love dads.
And the last trailer I saw, they put out a final trailer for the Watchmen show on HBO.
Yeah?
And this one kind of goes more into what it's kind of supposed to be about.
Okay.
And
Like the plot trailer.
yeah, a little more of a plot. And it looks interesting. Like it looks like there's like this gang that dressed up like Rorschach is called like the Cavalry.
Okay.
And they've just taken it upon themselves to just kill anyone that's like authority figures. So that's why everyone wears masks. So that
Damn.
when they're actually going out and like fighting crime like this, when they're not doing that, they can actually live normal lives because people don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And then because of this, like, it feels like the laws have changed in some way where they can just kind of capture people and interrogate them without really having any kind of means of, like,
It's martial law.
pretty much.
Ooh.
Like, Regina Hall plays, like, she has, like, a superhero name, but she's, like, an actual detective.
Okay.
And she just dresses up like that because she has to dress like that.
Oh, shit.
And, like, their interrogator is, like, the guy with the mirror mask.
Yeah.
Who just, like, locks them in this room and, like, has, like, all this, like, imagery around him. And it's kind of cool because they, like, show it where it's, like, he's interrogating them, but then, like, all the imagery is, like, reflecting off his mask while he's talking to him.
Right on. Okay.
So, I don't know. It looks cool.
Okay. I'm still lukewarm on it.
All right.
But I didn't see the trailer or anything. I just about the idea in general.
Yeah.
So we'll see, won't we?
Yeah. But it looks fun.
Great.
I'm for it. And Damon Lindelof made The Leftovers, which is pretty sweet.
Would you also consider The Leftovers fun?
I mean, you definitely need to think about it.
Okay. Very good.
But there you go.
I've never heard anybody say The Watchmen is fun.
Well, I'm fucking
Then
weird.
they haven't lived then, huh?
They haven't lived. But so there you go. So that means that'll bring us into our turn of random movies, Troy. Which now you got some
Got some work to do
work
here.
to do because you're in charge of the quarterfinals. Before we get to you, Troy, we've got one more match that I got to bring up from last week. 50-50 versus the Pink Panther. Did you see one, Troy?
I didn't. No.
I'm pretty sure I knew one, but I'll make sure just in case. It was... I'm pretty sure I know. Yep, it was 50-50.
Great.
Took it over the Pink Panther. Also was 69% of the vote, so someone out there's got a sense of humor, you know what I'm saying? So there you go. 50-50 added to the tournament.
Okay.
Pink Panther's out. So there we go. We have the full list of our quarterfinal contenders. Smokin' Aces, Mortal Kombat, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, V for Vendetta, Three Amigos, This is the End, Mr. Magoo, and 50-50. Troy, I know you got... you took down the list last week.
Yep.
What is our first quarter, I love a quarter, final match?
The first one we have is going to be Smokin' Aces
Oh, starting on the top.
against This Is the End.
Whoa.
Yes. A little jumble 'em up. A little jumble 'em up.
I like where you're going with this.
Okay.
So what was your inspiration to
Well, I'm
create?
looking at the whole list, and the last time we did a jumble up, I kind of mixed them up as so like genres would be competing against each other.
Mm-hmm.
So like comedies would be comedies, kids movies. But this one, so This Is the End's kind of got like weird actiony beats to it,
Yeah.
but it's mostly a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And Smokin' Aces is like an actiony piece, but it's also got bits of levity in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I think they're not in the same genre, I feel like they're pretty similar, that they'd have a nice... And I think they're about as equally as well liked. One's
Okay.
not going to just be way, like, voted over the other.
Yeah.
So that's why I put them together, too. So we have, like, maybe like a fun little battle that can go back and forth.
Very interesting.
That was my thought on this.
Ah, what the fuck was that?
But, got a big-ass bug over here or something?
No, I was just the laptop made weird sounds, but it's still recording, so who gives a shit?
Very good. But there's some other ones on here that I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to put those up against.
I know this one kind of runs the gamut, so I'm curious to see what you're gonna
Yeah.
do.
There's some that I want to see go farther, but if I put them up against another one, then I'm like, well, it's out then. All right.
But there you go. I like your first pick.
Thank
Smoking
you.
Aces versus This Is the End.
Thank you.
So there you go. Get out there, get on your Google machines, and vote for which one you want to go ahead in the tournament of random movies between Smoking Aces and This Is the End. Do you have a personal favorite you want to go through in this matchup, Troy?
I do, but I'm not going to tip my
Gonna
hat.
keep it close to the chest.
I'm going to keep it close to the
Gonna
chest this time.
wait until next week to tell us.
I will.
Good.
I will.
Good. Good.
Good. Good. Do you have one?
I don't know. I think you picked a good matchup here because I would not mind seeing both of these, but both for different reasons. So it might just have to be which one will strike me the most when I decide to get out there and vote.
Get out there and vote, bitch.
Vote it down, motherfucker.
Very good. So do that at Revue Pod on the Twitters.
Yes.
Check it out sometime. Well, that'll bring us right into our hot topic of the evening.
That's right.
The winner of the Tournament of Random Movies.
Yeah. Coming off of
5?
Tournament Random Movie 6. Well,
6?
This was, yeah. 6. We're talking about 7. Now we're on 6.
My God.
We're talking about 6.
Talking about 6, baby.
Let's talk about 6.
Let's talk about you and me. Misery.
Yeah.
Based on the novel by Stephen King.
Yep.
Directed by Rob Reiner.
Such a weird...
Yeah, I know. That's the only reason why I even wanted to say it. Dropping November 30th, 1990.
Yeah.
With a budget of $20 million. Opening weekend made $10 million with a domestic total of $61.2 million.
I would say it got its money back.
Say not done too shabby for itself. Worldwide wasn't released. Worldwide. Not that I could see anyone. Rotten Tomatoes has this at 90%.
Wow. Rotten Tomatoes.
IMDb has it at a 7.8 out of 10. Metacritic, 75%. And the stop button
Uh-oh.
gave it 3 stars.
3 out of...
Don't know.
Don't know?
Don't know.
Okay.
I also have a bit of an excerpt from that review that I would like to read because I think it'll make you audibly groan.
Oh, great.
That's the only thing I ever want to bring to your attention. So back in 1990, ignorant, bigoted, book-burning, fundamentalist Christian psychopath women were screen villains on par with Norman Bates.
Wow.
By some accounts. Now they're presidential candidates.
Who is this guy?
I don't know.
Jesus.
But that's the only thing I wanted to read to you.
He sounds like a hoot.
He sounds like a fucking shitbag.
Jesus.
Oh my God. I got a bunch of messages. I just need to turn off my phone. What am I doing? This did get a few award nominations and an actual win for Kathy Bates.
Yeah.
Winning an Oscar for Best Actress.
Put it away.
That's right. She beat Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman for this role. Like, she took it. She took it home. This also, JT, box office-wise, is the number 5 highest-grossing Stephen King adaptation.
Oh.
Could you give me the top 4?
Oh, The Shining for sure.
No.
What?
It is not.
It's like 1408.
1408 is number 4.
God damn! Well, then probably It.
It is number 1.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh, shit. The Mist?
No.
Damn it.
This one isn't... Okay, so you're missing a big one for number 2.
Oh, fuck.
2 being a hint.
It Chapter 2.
Thank
yeah,
you very much.
Figured.
The third one, I wouldn't peg it as a Stephen King work.
Okay.
But it was written by him. But it's not like a horror.
What? Oh, Stand By Me.
No.
Shit. Okay, I don't know.
Green Mile.
Oh, yeah, okay.
See, I didn't even know that was a Stephen King one, to be perfectly fair and honest with you.
Fair.
To be fair. That's it. For my T-Facts, I also want to go into a little bit on how did you eventually watch this movie?
I had to buy it.
You bought it.
I bought it on fucking Amazon. What'd you do?
So I bit the bullet
Yeah.
and watched it in 22 segments on YouTube. The only reason I wanted to bring up subtitles was because they all had German subtitles on it.
Fantastic.
But the movie was in 1080p HD.
Wow.
And it was all cut in 5-minute segments.
Yeah.
That almost actually were nice cuts.
Oh.
Some.
Yeah.
The first few were cut in the middle of a sentence, which was kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
But it only played... It has like a whole playlist, so it'll just play them one right after the other.
Yeah.
And it only ever played like 3 ads.
Oh, shit.
So it wasn't that bad of a way to watch it.
Okay.
That.
I should have looked it up on YouTube.
See, I think I said it
up.
last week, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that shit. 22 separate videos.
Yeah.
Ended up not being that bad.
Yeah.
So, if you want to watch Misery,
Yeah.
do so on YouTube. Find the playlist. It may have German subtitles on it. Just don't pay attention to it. I think it's fine.
Okay. Okay.
I think it... Not that I don't like this movie. Just a little opinion spoiler right off the top here.
Okay.
But I don't want to spend $15 on it.
No,
I'll probably only watch it once.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Was that the price tag? $15?
Yeah, it was about...
That's about anything I found anywhere else.
Yeah. I was looking on the PlayStation Store because the app that I have that like tells you like where certain things are streaming said that you could rent it on there. So I checked there, but then I couldn't rent it, but that was like $9 on there.
Oh.
But I was like, well, fuck it. If I'm gonna own it, I might as well keep it on the app that I put all the shit that I own.
Right.
So then I looked on Amazon, that was $15. I was like, oh, fuck. Well, whatever.
So weird that you can't rent this
anywhere.
I know.
Well, shit, when we did True Lies, I had to buy the DVD because you couldn't even rent or buy it anywhere
Oh, yeah, that's right.
on streaming.
Fucked up. How did I end up watching that?
I think I let you borrow the DVD.
Oh, man. Yeah, so anyway, what happened in Misery? JT?
Well, we follow the writer named Paul Sheldon,
Yeah.
played by James Caan, who is trying to get away from the thing that made him a famous writer, the Misery novels.
Yes.
About a woman in the 1800s. Like a romance novel type.
Yeah.
Like kind of like those trashy, like, $2 books you buy at grocery stores or whatever. Like, that's what made him famous. But he's like, fuck all that. I want to write my own shit. So he finally writes the book that he always wanted to write. And on his way to dropping it off at the publishers, he gets into a terrible car accident and is saved by his #1 fan, who is Annie Wilkes, played by Kathy Bates, who loves the Misery novels. And he comes to find out that she may love them so much that she's willing to imprison him and possibly dismember and disfigure him into writing more Misery novels.
Right. Misery.
Misery.
There you have it. So, the obviously famous scene is the hobbling scene. Which, every time I see this, I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah. they only show her doing one leg, but then the sound effect of the second one after seeing the first one is enough to be like, enough!
Yes. And actually, Kathy Bates, like, isn't, like, really up on doing violent scenes, at least when filming this movie.
Yeah.
So when she was, like, preparing to do this, she, like, was having a breakdown and started crying because she didn't want to do the scene because she hates, like, violence.
Yeah.
Even, like, a scene later on near the end where she's in a little bit of a scuffle, she also like started crying before the scene because she just like didn't want to do it or whatever.
That scene at the end was way more violent than I remember it being too.
I have never seen this movie before, so
really?
I the only thing I know of this movie is that she hobbles him.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
And,
so I'm curious to see what you think of the whole thing then at the as we go on. But.
Yeah, I was actually surprised at a few things for it being like such a high regarded movie, especially because it's like an Oscar winning movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought it looked kind of cheaply made.
Yeah.
It looked like a TV movie almost. Granted, the budget was low and it was made in 1990, so it wasn't like and maybe it's because it was like from a standard def and like made into high def, so it made it look like, I don't know, cheaper to produce, I guess. But it just seemed, I don't know, like made on the cheap. And maybe it was. I don't know. It was $20 million.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's like movies like this that I feel like don't exist anymore, where it's just like a very simple setting, but you get really good actors and actresses to play off each other on that simple set.
Yeah.
Where it's like you put most of your budget towards the actors and not like these giant set pieces as it goes on.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think is the most refreshing thing about watching this, is that like those movies aren't really made anymore unless they're like a Netflix exclusive or something.
Yeah, sure. Speaking of actors, I am not a fan of James Caan.
Really?
I don't think I've ever seen him in anything that I'm just like, yeah, he's a good actor.
I feel like he was a villain in something that I liked, but I can't remember what it was.
Like, I just find him just lazy. Like, I don't think he's trying. In this, Kathy Bates, I think, deserves to win an Oscar. Like, her performance in this is really fun to watch her, like, be super, like, naive in appearance and very kind-hearted to just snap in a second.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that's really cool. But James Caan the whole time is just like, even when he's like kind of being tortured, he's always just cool about
like,
everything.
Fuck it.
And like, then I read something on stage too, is that like, or not on stage, in my notes here, I have that like he once showed up so hungover for a shooting one day that all the footage was unusable. And granted, he did like a noble thing and like paid for the reshoots to redo the scene, but at the same time, it's like you came to set just like worthless.
Oh yeah, he's the main villain in Eraser. That's what I remember him from. A shitty ass.
I barely remember
Arnold
Eraser.
Schwarzenegger. I'm telling you, I've got this thing for fucking. I want to do more Arnold Schwarzenegger shitty movies.
I'll do fucking an Arnold Schwarzenegger 90s spread of movies. So yeah, I'm not a fan of James Caan. I brought that up to Chelsea too, and she's like, well, I like him in a few things. And I'm like, you can't say Elf because he's the same character in Elf. A dick.
Yeah.
Like, he's not... what? Somebody out there tell me something that James Caan isn't doing this same shit from this movie in.
Yeah, he's never played anything different from just being like a sardonic, like, whatever.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
He sucks.
Yeah, he's like a lethargic, sardonic asshole in all of his fucking shit.
Yeah. So, when I was...
Except he was Sonny in The Godfather. I almost forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. I barely remember Sonny in there, though. Never mind. That was a good performance. Let's say. I'll recant on my thing.
Yeah, that was like probably like the thing that got him noticed the most, just being Sonny in The Godfather.
But that was made in like the 70s.
Yeah.
I'll say anything past the 80s I don't like from James Caan. There you go. What else do I got here? I also really enjoyed the two side characters of Buster, the sheriff, and his wife.
Buster's my favorite character in this whole fucking movie.
He is my also favorite character. I didn't know they existed at all in this movie before going in, and they won my heart.
Yeah. This movie needs a Buster in it because like the whole movie is just watching her just slowly mentally torture this guy in her bed.
Yes.
Where it's like, Jesus Christ, can we get something else?
Yeah.
And then like they'll just bring in like random scenes of Buster, and it's just like the whole time he's just egging on his wife, just giving her shit, and
Yep.
like
Yeah.
just doing a bunch of shit where it's like, God, thank God.
There was one thing that I actually paused it and had to tell Chelsea what the friggin' back and forth of what of it was. But he was going on about the freaking misery novels or whatever.
Yeah.
And his wife just like gets on his case about it, and he was like, you know what? That's what I love about our marriage is that you're sassy, sarcastic wit or whatever. And if she should just talk major shit about him or whatever, keep it spicy. And it's just like this old couple. Like at one point, the wife reaches over and grabs his knee, like because she's like feeling horny or whatever, and he's like, "Not in the truck," or whatever he says.
Oh yeah, it said,
not while we're on
like
duty.
when you're in this car, you're my deputy, not my wife.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do those kinds of things to my deputy.
Yeah.
Some shit.
It's perfect. And like they could have played this completely different.
Yeah.
Like a straight-laced, like a detective cop.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's like a small town, like, I guess I'm the mayor and the deputy.
Yeah.
Like a Gomer Pyle.
There's one scene that I was cracking up on where like he was getting a phone call from someone that sounds like straight out of a fucking small town where all you hear is his side of the conversation. He's just like, well, if you don't want people sitting in front of your store, don't put benches out there then, Harold. Yeah. I was like, that sounds like a total small town complaint.
I loved it. So it's like you had this like mix of like this kind of like suspense going on at this Kathy Bates's house, like what's going on there.
Yeah.
Almost mixed with like Fargo-esque.
Yeah.
Like in like just fun on this other side.
Like the only real reason like he's looking into it is because that was the last place that he was seen. So like he kind of treats it as like well, if I find something, I'll find something.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I got other shit to worry about, like people complaining about people loitering.
Yeah. It was.
But I also love like when anytime he gets like a crack in the case, and people are like, "Did you find something, Buster?" And he's like, "Nope, not at all," and just leaves. Like he's always like downplaying like the shit that he finds.
Yeah. I also love it that like he just like rented a ton of the misery novels to read at home, and he's like reading in bed, and he's like, "Oh, that's a good line."
Yeah, like he's getting like getting into it too. Like his wife's like making fun of him because he's actually getting into the misery novels.
Yeah. Oh my god, they need their own fucking movie.
Oh, totally.
God.
But yeah, I always perked up every time Buster showed up on the screen.
And his name is Buster.
Yeah.
Like, come on, it's so good. But anything else? Any like little criticisms you got going on over there?
Like, my only thing I have against this movie is that like I think the movie is really well done, but like my only thing against it is that like Annie Wilkes makes me so uncomfortable because I feel like I've met so many Annie Wilkes.
Yeah, I was
in my
thinking
life.
the exact same thing.
I've met so many people that are exactly like her, and I hate all of them.
Yes. Yeah. It like I've like met a ton that are like her marmy type of like act she puts on.
Yeah.
And it like makes me worry that maybe they do hobble people in their bedrooms.
Yeah. They're just like those chicks where they're like middle-aged, like
middle-aged chicks.
They never swear, very Christian, but then like beyond that, they're just total assholes.
Yeah.
Whereas like they consider themselves good people just based on those two things.
Yeah.
And everything else, they'll take advantage of you, they'll fucking steal from you.
Yeah.
I just every time, like I've heard like reviews for this where it's like, well, Kathy Bates does a really good job of making her sympathetic. Where I was like, the minute I saw her, I knew exactly what she was all about, and I was like, fuck her.
Fuck her.
I don't know if that's just like a small town thing or what, but like the minute I saw her, I was just like, I know exactly what you're up to.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's like that weird like narcissism where it's like you have low self-esteem at the same time. It's like the minute anyone gives you an edge, they'll just fucking beat it out of you.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
I've definitely met people the same way. And it's frustrating. Ugh. I'm just thinking about it. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
I know. And that's the only thing I can't get past in this movie is that like anytime Annie Wilkes is on the screen, Kathy Bates does such a good job that I can barely stand watching her.
With that being said, though, like, when she comes in, when she displays like other like aspects of her like attitude and like life or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that one time when it was like raining and she comes in with a gun.
Yeah.
And she's just like, when it rains, I get a little blue.
Yeah.
I have this gun. Probably gonna put bullets in it.
Yeah.
And then she just leaves the room, and you're like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah. Like it makes you wonder, like if she would have read that Misery novel without the author being in the other room, she probably would have just killed herself right there.
Yeah, maybe. But like, what was actually surprising to me is like how early on that she kind of lets on that she's like a wacko.
Yeah.
Because like right off the bat, like if you knew nothing about this movie, he's like, oh, it's a Good Samaritan. She's a nurse. They got snowed in.
Yeah.
She's like nursing him back to health.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like fairly early on where it's like, oh, the phones don't work, and it's like, no, that's bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
or we're still snowed in or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, and she even kind of lets it on early to him, like James Caan, that she's like kind of nefarious in her.
Yeah, like she's like a terrible liar because it gets to a point where she's like driving, like she'll go out and drive and he's like, oh, so the roads are cleared. Well, only one.
Yeah.
Like the one that I rode on, that's clear. Like, oh, so the phone lines are back up. Well, no, just there's one at the hospital that I went to. Oh, so you take me to the hospital? Well, no, that's kind of hard. Where it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
She's so full of shit at certain points, but it's like I've even met people like that where it's like you can tell when they're lying because they'll say one line to try and like sweep it under the rug and then they'll change the subject right away.
Yeah,
and she does that so many times in this where I'm like, if I was James Caan, I'd be like, get me the fuck out of here.
See, that's what I was like surprised. Like, granted, when she leaves the room, he's like trying to like figure out ways to escape or whatever.
Yeah,
but like I almost wish that they would have kept like the ambiguousness like going a little bit longer in the movie.
Yeah.
Almost like halfway through, and then there's like a turning point where like, oh yeah, she's full blown crazy.
Yeah.
And that comes like rather early. Maybe the fourth part of my 22-part viewing of this.
Yeah. I think the first time that she shows that she's like, when she's like reviewing like his latest book, she just is like, you swear too much, and she's just like spilling like tomato soup all over him.
Yeah. Yeah. Even like, she said that she didn't like the ending to the last Misery novel because like the main character dies in it or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that the one she was losing her shit over?
Yeah. Well,
oh no, it was his new book.
Because the latest Misery novel comes out while she has him there.
Yeah.
So she starts reading that, and then she loses it because Misery dies in the last book.
Right. And I love that, like, it was from an aspect of like a crazed person like that to like the person who wrote it, and he's just like, I mean, that she went naturally or whatever. She went peacefully. You don't kill her. You don't kill her.
She didn't die. You killed her. But
and he's like sitting like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Like, but a part of this movie almost kind of feels like relevant today, where you get all these people that are fucking like doing like R.I.P. Tony Stark.
Yeah.
we'll always remember you. Like, it's a fictional fucking character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like GoFundMes where like people don't like how certain people wrote movies or something.
Yep.
Or it was like, see, this movie would not even exist if we had the internet back then.
That's right.
She just start a petition on change.org.
That's right. Missed the boat.
What? Bring back misery. Change.org petition.
What? Fuck! I lost my train of thought. All I could think about was her rallying for a change.org for some fucking Harlequin novel or whatever it is. But I was also really happy to see that it's.
God damn it! No, I'm fine.
Rather short. It's like 105 minutes long or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, awesome, sweet. Like I can fit it in this afternoon. Like I don't have to like watch it in chunks. I also watched it with like a good chunk of it with Macy. But like I was actually, because she doesn't pick up a whole lot yet from movies.
Yeah.
If it's subtle, like if people are just kind of like arguing and stuff, doesn't pick that up. What was making me nervous is like when it was getting to the end and they were like really full on fighting each other.
Yeah.
And she's like, they're fighting. And I'm like, yes, they are fighting.
Yes, they are.
Fighting is bad.
Yeah. While Kathy Bates' face is full of blood, getting her head caved in with a typewriter. And Macy's like, they're fighting.
They're fighting. And I'm just like, and so she's sitting on like the arm of the couch and I'm sitting on the couch. And they're like, she's like, they're fighting each other. And I'm like, yeah, remember, we don't fight. That's not nice. They're fighting. And it was like super happy about it. So like when he like lifts the typewriter above his head and I'm like, oh shit. So I like grab her and cradle her and it's like, we don't fight and we don't fight. Like trying to like shield her face so like she doesn't see this bludgeoning happening. It happens.
Father of the year over here.
And then, like, when he trips her and she, like, cracks her head off the type, I almost thought that was worse.
Yeah.
She saw all of that one because it happened so fast. And then she gets back up again, and I'm like, holy shit, she's like fucking Freddy.
Oh, I know. There's so many times where I'm like, oh, it's over. And then she comes back, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
But, and then there's like that big fucking doorstop that's like this big iron pig. And I'm just like, holy shit, he's gonna smash her in the head with it. So then I cradle her again, like, we don't fight, man, we don't fight. And it's just like, falls down, she's a bloody mess. God, I'm like, holy shit. But that was like the only real... Well, that and the hobbling.
Yeah.
Are the only two really...
Yeah.
I guess parts... I guess if you have to watch it with a 2-year-old, then you might want to be like, yeah, look over there, Elmo. Look, I just saw him out the window.
I almost love the relationship after the hobbling because it's like no holds barred from that point where like James Caan just like, treats her like absolute dog shit. Before then he's kind of like being nice to her because like, well, I might get out of here and I kind of need her to get me out of here.
Yeah.
And the minute he hobbles her, he's just like flipping her off and telling her to go fuck herself and all this shit.
But only for like a stint because then like he goes back to like trying to win her over again. Only to like get her in close so he can like stab her or whatever.
Well, he only brings her in close because then she gets this whole like suicide pact idea in her mind where it's like, oh fuck, I gotta be nice to her again.
Yeah.
But no, I was loving that whole small stint where she's just like, oh, you're such a kidder, and he's like flipping her off.
At one point, like I went up to get something and I come back and he's like just straight on choking her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, what'd I miss?
Oh yeah, when like Buster pulls up and then she comes in with a syringe like, you bitch! And just like grabs her by the throat. And it's just like, oh, it's so good.
Oh my god.
Like she still is like she still plays it up like they still are in love with each other, so she's just like always so nice to him, but then like when like things like come to like a head, she just like is like, oh shit, I gotta drug you, and he's like, god damn it, and he's like trying to beat the shit out of her, and he's just like, she like drugs him,
thumbing out her eyes.
Yeah. Yes. God damn. There's like near the end there, I fucking love the things that they do with each other where they're just like they're just absolute shitheads to each other.
Yeah. It's pretty fun to watch.
Like she like gets to a point where she's just like I just need a warm body to like pretend that it loves me. And then even when it's like to a point where he's just like treating her like absolute garbage, she's just like wave hi. Like, oh look, Misery the pig, there he is.
I really thought the pig was going to come into play in this.
I was thinking so too. Well, so Molly had a theory. What did you think about all of the weird shit with the babies in the clippings?
I wanted to bring that up. So like James Caan comes out and goes through like a memory book that she's made of like her early pictures of her and like her accomplishments of being like an actual good nurse. Yeah. And then she saves clippings of a bunch of babies dying.
Yeah.
At her hand, you can assume. And then in one of the like lines under like the headline said like Dragon Lady or something strikes again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Because I wanted more explanation on that.
I know.
Did she just like want to kill babies?
I don't know. Like,
I needed more.
Did they say that the babies died at the hospital or that they went Okay, because Molly's whole idea was that like she was stealing them, trying to take care of them herself, and then they would die, and then she would feed them to the pig. Because they have that one part where it's like one of the paper clippings about like the babies dying or going missing, and then like the pig, like Misery the pig, is right underneath it, being like a pride and joy or whatever.
Oh yeah, I'm fairly certain all the headlines said that like they kept dying at the hospital.
Yeah,
but I mean she was the head of the maternity ward there at that time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like that's the stuff I'd like want more of to understand, especially if she got the nickname Dragon Lady. Like where the fuck did that come from?
But they were even like showing like she was like offing people to get the position too, and like she also killed her husband.
Yeah. So how is she not in jail?
Yeah, that's the thing too.
I guess the lack of evidence, maybe. But even then, like, wouldn't old Buster know? Like, she's
Buster.
Not, she ain't right.
Yeah. Well, if like I guess they didn't. They just thought the writer was missing or dead. They didn't know that someone actually captured him.
But even then,
it was like right when
there's this crazy lady that lives up the road.
Yeah. Yeah, because they did like do like a fly over the house where it was like, well, you can't be there. Yeah. His car's not there. I was like, but you still know she's fucking insane. At least knock on the door and be like, hey, psycho.
Yeah.
Do you have a fucking writer in your house?
Oh no, why don't you come in and have some hot chocolate?
Yeah. Here, let me blow a fucking hole in your chest.
I was upset when Buster met
the
business end of that shotgun.
And then didn't even like show like how his wife reacted too, so it's just like they just kind of like swept her under the rug.
Too bad.
Because, like, a lot of the scenes with Buster is with him and his wife where they're just kind of, like, giving each other shit. Where it's like, aw, I like them.
I know. But I think the movie does a really good job at, like, building suspenseful scenes. Especially, like, when Buster does come to the house and he's like, can I come in? And she's like, yeah, sure, you can come in.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, shit, like, where's fucking James Caan? He's still in that fucking room?
Yeah.
He ends up being, like, shoved down a flight of stairs or whatever.
Yeah, she drugs him and throws him in the basement.
So, like, you don't see that. But, like, he is, like, immobile on his legs.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you gotta assume she picked him up and just threw him down a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
Because, like, why else would she move him if she didn't... Like, if she... knew like Buster was gonna be at the house.
Yeah,
she had to do that shit pretty quick.
Oh yeah,
she's not gonna be like tiptoe down the stairs. She'd be like, "Get down there!"
Well, they show her like drag him down the stairs.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
I missed it then.
But yeah, well, I guess I was reading like some facts for this, and I guess they did Misery on Broadway, and Julia Roberts plays Annie in the Broadway production, and Stephen King was like, how the fuck is she? Like, she's supposed to be like this big linebacker of a chick that like drags a guy out of a car in the middle of a snowstorm.
Right.
Like, how the hell does she work?
Did that go very far with Julia Roberts then?
I don't know. I guess it did well on Broadway and stuff. But yeah, like I guess like before this movie came out, like Stephen King didn't really think much of this book, and then when he saw Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes, he was like, "Oh, that's probably one of my best characters I ever made." Then,
yeah. And it's so he even liked her performance so much that he like wrote 2 other like stories just for Kathy Bates.
Yeah,
and
he wrote characters with Kathy Bates in mind to play that if they were to make a movie on it.
Yeah. Another thing that came out like 20 years after this movie like came out is that Stephen King kind of wrote this when he was like had a drug issue.
Yeah.
And like the Kathy Bates character is like a drug addiction, and he's the writer, obviously. And so it's always just like him being crippled by this addiction and can't escape it. And it just the drugs love him so much that he just needs to have them or whatever.
Or they force him to write stuff he doesn't really necessarily want to write.
Yeah. So that didn't come out till way later because he knew that that's why he wrote it, obviously. But he didn't want that to be like the main crux of what people took away from the movie.
Yeah. Or like when they were asking him about it at first, like he was still addicted to drugs and he didn't want to accept the fact that he was like a drug addict.
Yeah. Even though like he's got to be on way too much cocaine on some of those earlier movies that I've heard. Just by hearing like how does this get made freaking episodes where like they did
Maximum Overdrive, which like he directed himself.
Yeah, that's the one.
Which is supposed to be like it's supposed to be fucking insane.
Just doing rails of cocaine up at fucking weeks on end. God. Anything else about Misery?
No, not really. The good thing about this movie is it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah,
like there's not tight. There's not really much to. There's not a lot of like points where they go off in other directions or anything.
Right.
But I think it's almost kind of a strength of it where you almost feel kind of like how James Caan feels in this, where you're just kind of trapped.
Yeah.
Like the only times you really are able to venture outside of her house is when you're like when you're like seeing Buster.
Yep.
Where like seeing that you almost kind of like feel like this big wave of relief.
Yep.
Where like, oh shit, well, I feel relief because of this. Imagine how he feels that he's stuck there for fucking ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I ended up really enjoying this movie quite a bit. Like, it's got like a ton of acclaim even before I got my eyeballs on it. So I was expecting, I didn't really know what I was expecting, to be honest, because like I'm not a big horror person. But even then, like there's not horror so much in this as like more suspense. And I ended up walking away liking this quite a bit.
Yeah. Like I said, like the only thing I really hold against it is that I just fucking Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes just fucking drives me up the wall.
And see, like, the other way around, like, I can't stand James Caan. And so, like, that's, like, the knock about it, like, that I'm not really enjoying in the movie.
Yeah, but for me, it's not, like, a negative. It's just that she does it so well that I see other people in her that I can't fucking stand. So because of that, I'm just like, oh, god damn it.
See, mine is a negative.
and yours is a negative.
But I think I'd give it, like, a really high recommended B+.
Yeah, I'll give it a B+ too.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So check it out.
There you go, Misery. So there we go. Now that it's a review turn random movies winner that we've reviewed, where does this rank in term of the other movies that we've done?
God, what were the other ones we did? Write them down. UHF.
UHF was the first one. Tombstone was the second one. What was the third? Was the third one Falling Down?
That was one of them.
I'll say the third one was Falling Down. The fourth one was Jerry Maguire. And then the fifth one was Platoon. And then this would be the sixth one.
I'm writing them down so I don't forget them and ask you again.
So I think I got mine.
All right, go ahead. What's yours?
Okay. So my number 1 is still Falling Down.
Okay.
I'd say my number 2 is still Jerry Maguire. I'd say Misery is probably my number 3. And then, I don't know, based on like that whole thing that Dave's dad sent us, I think Platoon is probably number 4.
Okay.
And then number 5 would be Tombstone, and number 6 would be UHF.
Okay. I think this one might take my favorite. Maybe it's because it's like just fresh in my mind. But like thinking back to like Falling Down and Jerry Maguire, which I would probably put at my number 1 or 2, I think I would rather go back and rewatch this.
Yeah.
Than the other ones.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, Misery's really good, but I don't think it's one of those ones that I'd want to revisit. Like, I'd probably like revisit it like after having not seen it for a while, just to remind myself it's a good movie. But I wouldn't be like, yeah, Misery.
Oh yeah, the same way. But like looking at these, I'm like, what would I rather watch right now? I probably want to watch Misery over Jerry Maguire. Like for whatever reason.
I don't know. With Jerry Maguire, I had a lot of fun with him and Cuba Gooding in that.
Yeah.
And then with Falling Down, I think there's like a lot of parts like Robert Duvall playing that fucking like cheeky ass detective that I liked. I think just from those two movies, just from those scenes, from those kinds of scenes, I think I like those movies more than Misery.
Okay. For me, I'll put Misery at number 1. Jerry Maguire, Falling Down, UHF, Platoon, and then Tombstone.
Gotcha.
I think. For whatever reason, I can't think of like what happened in Platoon other than the disturbing scenes that I can remember.
That's pretty much it, actually, I think. There was that part where they got high.
Oh, yeah. There you go. There you have it. There's the rankings right there.
There you go.
Well, JT, is there anything else you've been into this last week?
Well, the only real thing I really got into was John Wick 3,
yes.
Parabellum. I fucking love this movie.
Yes.
I fucking love John Wick so much. Like, even like down to where now like the story is getting kind of convoluted.
Uh-huh.
It's just like, it's kind of like an American reimagining of those Tony Jaa movies you used to watch when we were growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's just like, the story is kind of horseshit, but all the fucking action in it is so fucking good.
Yeah.
And every action scene is so different in its own way that it never gets old as it goes on.
Yeah.
Like, there's like a scene where him and Halle Berry fucking annihilate like a castle full of dudes with her 2 German shepherds. And it's so fucking good.
God, I need to watch that.
On my lunch break, I watched the first half hour of this, which, if you don't watch any of this, watch the first half hour.
Okay.
Because it is fucking insane, because like how it begins is how the last one ended, where John Wick like kills the villain of the second one in the Continental, which is against the rules to this high table, which is like this assassin's club.
Yep.
Because like this Continental Hotel is sacred ground, so you can't kill anyone on it. So he does it, and then because of that, they put a hit out on him. So the first half hour of this is him trying to get out of New York City, and just everyone trying to kill him on in the process of that.
Sounds
and
so
he
good.
fucking he has to go to a library to get something, so he goes to a library and goes to this book, and then this man that's like 1.5 feet taller than him just starts kicking the shit out of him. So he uses a book to cave in his like larynx.
God.
And then he proceeds to like get chased by this Asian gang into this pawn shop where they go into this room full of knives. And then it pretty much turns into a game of dodgeball with knives, with him and 3 Asian guys on the other side of the room just breaking display cases and throwing knives at each other.
Amazing.
And then he gets chased into a stable where he coaxes a horse into kicking a dude in the head to death. Like, not just once. Like, he keeps doing it until the guy's, like, head is like a bloody stump.
Oh, my God.
This
sounds amazing.
It is so fucking good. And, like, the story is kind of convoluted, but it's, like, in kind of, like, that weird, out of left field kind of way. Like, even, like, if you've been following the story, you can kind of appreciate it. And, like, it's so much of this shit is just people being like, hello, Mr. Wick. And then he just, like, puts down, like, a random coin, and then they're like, oh, right this way. And that's, like, all the dialogue in this is just, like, John Wick just, like, showing random emblems and then being like, oh, my God, you have that?
Yeah.
Right this way, Mr.
Right
Wick.
this way, Mr.
And it's just like, what does this mean? What is this shit? But then it's, like, all this stuff, like, the whole John Wick series is like that, and it's so fucking stupid and fun. And, like, 3 is probably my favorite out of all of them, just because the action gets so ramped up and insane. Like, the main villain in it is, like, his #1 fan, because he'll get put into situations where, like, they can't fight each other, and the guy is just fanboying over John Wick, where he's like, I've followed you for the longest time. I love your work. And, like, the only reason he really wants to kill him is so that he can, like, mark out for himself that he's killed John Wick.
Oh, God.
So it's, like, the whole movie is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I need to go and rewatch some John Wicks. I feel like I'm missing out. I'm freaking FOMOing over here.
God.
Can't happen.
It's good.
Very good.
It's really, really good.
Anything else?
That's pretty much all I've been into.
I read all of this series called Lost Girls by Alan Moore. And I'm going to save a good chunk of this review for Imperious Rex. I want to blow my wad, so to say, for this. But it is surprising how much I liked this book.
Really?
Flipping through it at face value, you're like, holy shit, what is going on in this book? You flipped through it.
I did. I did see vaginas.
There are vaginas aplenty in this book. A lot of dongs. A lot of cunnilingus in this book. I don't have to say that.
Well.
But a strength is its actual writing.
Yeah.
Because I think you actually get to like the characters, and it's not just a straight porn of a book. You actually get like behind the characters, and like it's a take on like Wendy from Peter Pan, Dorothy from Wizard of Oz, and Alice from Alice in Wonderland when they're grown up.
Yeah.
And like they tell stories about their lives or their like tales about them.
Yeah.
But it's in this twisted, perverted sexual take.
Okay.
And there's 3 books of it. And it's a pretty quick read because it's told in 30 chapters.
Yeah.
And each chapter is only 8 pages.
Oh, really?
So it goes pretty quick. And as the books continue, it gets more debaucherous and pushing more of the envelope in terms of like kinks.
Yeah.
And not even I don't know if kinks is the right word, but like almost what you can get away with.
God.
So like the first is just like all these 3 women's like sexual awakening, right?
Yeah.
And the second book gets to know about like more of their past stories, where they take like, let's just say Dorothy for the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Instead of like actually meeting the Cowardly Lion, she lived on this Kansas farm and met like a farmhand who was a tad like sheepish or whatever, but he was a big burly guy.
Yeah.
And when he banged her, he gained the courage to talk to more people.
Oh, God.
And that's the kind of like story that we're dealing with here.
That's kind of grossly interesting.
And it is interesting. By the time they get to the third book, they've added like incestuous stuff in there, a tad sprinkle of bestiality.
Oh.
So there you go. There you go. It is not for kids.
So they
or
pretty much
teens.
turn it into like these women are making up the stories that we know to deal with like the repression of going through these experiences.
You could take it like that, but it's more or less like so like Alice, for instance.
Yeah.
Her stories, the tales are rather trippy. Like going through a mirror, going through Wonderland and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So like her backstory is like a drug-addled freaking mess.
Oof.
Like she meets like the quote queen of hearts.
Yeah.
And like she almost becomes like her pimp. It's kind like in the simplest form of just explanation right now.
Yeah.
And gets her so hopped up on opium that she gets addicted to it and will do anything to get it.
Jesus.
And then it's like a slow downfall of like her character until she can finally get away from her. And all of it is like debaucherous acts. And like by the time like it gets to the end also, I feel like the writing gets a little more blue. And it's not as eloquently written.
Yeah.
But the first book will be like, oh, I met this farmhand and I felt his length penetrate me until he erupted in a glorious orgasm or whatever it was. And by the end, he's like...
I choked on his cock!
Yeah, almost! Like, one of the lines that stuck with me was like, he compacted my bowel.
Oh!
By doing me in my ass. And
God.
I'm like, what the fuck? So I read all of those. Look forward to what me and Dave have to say coming up pretty soon.
I can't wait for
Imperious
these
Rex.
Imperious sex shows. I usually don't watch your guys' show, but I'm going to watch these.
This is the last one we need to record. All the other Imperious sex stuff is already recorded.
Yeah.
I needed more time to read this one, and I got it done.
I don't blame you.
But I knocked it out in a weekend.
Jesus.
Like, Chelsea just, like, looks over at me and I'm reading this book, like, licking my finger and turning a page, and she's just like...
Over here pitching a tent.
And she just, like... reading your porn. And, of course, like, it's got, like, storybook-esque, like, images on it, so Macy just wants to look through that book so bad.
Christ.
And I'm like, oh my god, no.
No.
Chelsea wants me to sell these books as soon as possible. I'm like, I think I might want to just keep them around.
I might want to read these.
Yeah, I think you would like them. I think you
just
would.
from what you've explained, I'm kind of interested into like seeing what my own interpretation of it would be.
And there's like a weird ending too that leaves it open to like kind of interpretation as well.
Ooh.
So like, I kind of want to go back and reread it because I was a little tired when I read. I'm like, oh, let's go in this direction. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. So anyway, I would suggest it to you. I wouldn't suggest it to everybody, but I would suggest it to you.
Okay.
But that's pretty much all what I've been into is just that.
Fantastic.
Some depravity.
Well, for Monday, since we're kind of flying from the seat of our pants here because based off of what we did for our AFI list from last month.
Right.
Everyone has been sending us their top 5 lists.
Yes.
So we think it would only be fair if maybe me and Troy put together our own top 5 list.
Yes.
I kind of racked my brain over this too. It was kind of hard because it's odd for me to be like, shit, what are like my favorite movies of all time?
I have my list right here in front of me.
Yeah.
I got all 5. And I have also like what am I trying to say, like stuff that could also fit in there too, depending on my mood.
Oh yeah,
like honorable mentions.
Yeah,
but like I think these are, well, we'll get into it on the show.
Oh yeah,
we'll get into it on the show.
I think I've got like a set couple of movies, but everything else could probably be interchanged by something else like the next week.
Yep, for sure. So that's what we got coming up Monday. What a top 5 movies would be for our personal AFIs.
Our personal AFIs. our TFIs and our JFIs.
That's right. So catch that come Monday.
And then next Thursday, Troy, I got
Yes.
you on pins and needles.
Yes.
Because we're ending Stephen King September with a movie that I've picked out that is based on a written work of Stephen King. And Troy, I know that you've heard me say for the longest time that I want to do some more crazy Arnold Schwarzenegger films.
Yes.
Stephen King wrote a little story called The Running Man.
What?
That was made into a film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
So for next week,
okay,
we're doing Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Running Man.
All right. All right.
I was as blown away, but as same as you, where I was like, wow, what else is Stephen King?
Because I was thinking, like, is he talking about, like, the Langoliers or something like that? What's fucking stupid, fucking crazy looking. But, all right, The Running Man.
Yeah.
Very good.
The Running Man is based off of a story written by Stephen King.
Okay.
And I've heard it's just fucking insanity. It's got fucking Jesse Ventura in it.
I've never seen it, so let's do it.
It's got one of probably the worst puns ever in it, where I guess there's a guy called Sub-Zero, and then when Arnold Schwarzenegger kills him, he says, Sub-Zero! Now, Plane Zero!
Doesn't make any sense.
This is kind of the goal you're looking forward to for next week.
Perfect.
I can't fucking wait.
The Running Man.
So The Running Man.
Get into it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can't fucking wait.
Set your dials to the fucking Running Man. Here we go. All right. So, JT, if people want to hit you up about other fun Stephen King works, where can they do that?
Hey, find me at BuckyForone on Twitter, also BuckyForone on Instagram, and BuckyForone on Snapchat. Troy.
You can hit me up at Troy to the Max on Twitter. You can hit both of us up at Revue Pod on Twitter as well. You can also go there to vote for the tourney of random movies.
That's right. We got our quarter, I love a quarterfinal matchup that Troy put together with Smoking Aces versus This Is the End.
That's right. So check that out. Vote with your hearts and your minds and your phones.
But mostly your penises.
That's right. Mostly your penises. If anything, only your penises.
Only your penises.
Women, also
your penises.
your penises.
Yeah. You own the penis of the man you're with. We'll just say that.
Just find something phallic and just vote with it. Something. A hot dog you found on the floor.
We should probably move on. I feel like we're going down a road.
Yeah, I know. You may like this show, so you can refer a friend.
You might not like it anymore, but if you still like it...
I got derailed so hard, I'm like, what are we doing here? So if you'd like to refer a friend to our show, you could do so at a bunch of different places. Our hosting site is reviewpod.podbean.com. But we're on a slew of other things such as Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And if you listen to us on the latter, you can rate and review us there, because if you like the show, that helps other people find the show.
Yeah.
If you want to write in, such as Eric did this evening, and Eric did Monday.
Yeah.
You can do that at reviewreviewpod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the show. Good show there, bud.
A good show there, bud.
Yeah, good show. Oh, I got to write something down to bring up on Monday.
Uh-oh. Fargo?
Here we go. But it will do it until we get to our top 5 personal AFIs.
Our personal AFIs for this month. This is probably the show that we should probably end it on.
That's it.
The best movies we've ever seen.
That's right.
Who gives a shit about what else we're going to talk about?
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Fuck this shit. Fuck this show. Show sucks.
We're over.
We're over, man.
That's fucking it. This is it.
So until we just end it all, I've been JT3K.
I've been short of the Max Extreme.
We are off.